Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. It's good evening from this side of the Sahara. It's 5 o'clock East Africa time, Nairobi time, and I want to welcome you to this set. We are going to have a lovely discussion, and we have an amazing guest by the name Zachuas Ogonji Olo, and it's such an honor to be speaking to this awesome guest who has started an initiative that is being implemented in 3 counties here in Kenya, and he is youth. And I know he's going to be an inspiration to fellow youth here in Kenya. So before we get right into it, I want to appreciate PKM Photos, who have provided the studio facilities to ensure that our broadcast lighting is on point, and who have ensured that they just said that, Violet, we're going to support you and we believe in what you are doing. So let's get right into it. And I just want to appreciate PKM Photos and for the photography equipment that they have provided for this particular show. So right now I have Zachuas Ogonji, and I'd like to invite him to the studio so that he can share with us and he can get to introduce us to his amazing initiative. Welcome to the studio, Zachuas. How are you, Zachuas?
Good. Good to see you, Violet.
All right, all right. Is there an echo from my side? Maybe I
Maybe if
can.
it is on this side.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Let me work it on my side.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a little bit. Just a little bit. 31. Yeah. So you may start by introducing yourself, Zachuas, so that people may get to know more about you.
Wow. I'm happy to be here and happy to be hosted by you. You do wonderful work, shining spotlight to what youth are doing across the country. I am Zachuas Ogonji Olopi, and I'm actually I was born in Vihiga County. And then I've grown up better part of my life in the Vihiga County in the village, and then I came to Nairobi to join high school, where I have spent a number of years now in Nairobi. But I consider myself a Kenyan and a young Kenyan for that matter. I'm into community work, social enterprises, seeing how well we can transform our society through initiating community-based projects, approaching development from a bottom-up kind of a way. So I'm happy to be here and to interact with everyone, and I look forward that we will learn a lot from each other. Thank you.
Karibu, karibu. So, Zachuas, tell us about your amazing initiative. What problem did you find in the community, and what led you to finding this particular solution?
I think many of us start our stories from a point of inadequacies, and I think a lot of families and communities in Kenya still have that challenge where we are inadequate in many things. So I grew up in not a very stable background. Access to education was very limited, and I did class 8 the first time I passed. I was not able to join high school. I went back, repeated, and the second time I got an opportunity through a well-wisher to be able to join high school, and that's how I came to Nairobi. I went through high school, I finished. I went through college, I finished, and I kept going back to the village where I was born. And through that interaction in the village, I realized there was still that gap that was there even when I was young, that many people are finishing primary school and were not able to join high school because they didn't have someone to support them. They didn't have the means, the resources. I came across many young people who had finished high school. They didn't have an opportunity to proceed to the next level. I saw families struggling with the basics to even provide for their children, and just reflecting on my own upbringing, reflecting on the challenges that I went through as a child, and seeing that so many others were still going through that, and then also thinking about that someone had given me an opportunity to go through my education and finish, and even I was at a level where I could depend on myself. I thought I should be able to do something as well. And there are many numbers out there, including the reality that 6 in every 10 children in Kenyan school, in class 6 for that matter, cannot read a complete sentence. And these numbers actually reflects the reality on the ground in terms of the villages where many of us come from. You find many children in uh, almost approaching to do a national exam, but they can't write, they don't have self-esteem, they are struggling with many different things, and yet this exam determines how their life will end up. So I felt this inequality that is as a result of how children start their school, how they how they attend school every day, the challenges they face as they go to school, is something that we should do something about. And looking at the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which talks about access to quality education, I asked myself, what is quality education? And what should we do to achieve that status? And I saw the gaps that were there in public schools, especially in the rural areas. And I thought, wow, we need to do something that complements and addresses some of these gaps. So that is how I ended up to set up Inua Village to Global Foundation, first as a community-based organization, championing awareness around access to quality education. And then we ended up with why don't we set up a school, a small community school that can bring together teachers, parents, children, to work together to discuss and implement education issues better for their children. And that is how we ended up now with 3 schools, one in Vihiga, another one in Lukuyani in Kakamega, and one small one here in Nairobi in Soweto. And we are continuing to grow. But the idea that we want to bridge the gap in terms of access to quality education, what does quality education means? How can parents participate? How can the teachers from the communities participate? How can the children and the families be supported so that they achieve quality education is really what drives the passion for this one.
All right. So how many teachers have you employed at Inua Global Foundation?
At the moment, as a whole, I have a team of 47 people for the whole organization, because the teachers do not work in exclusion. In our Village to Global Foundation, one thing that I did mention is we have the 3 schools, but everywhere that we have a school, we also have a circle, and the purpose of that circle is to enroll parents into training them how they can save, how they can be able to start to grow themselves. We also intend that at where we have a school, we also have an industry that is very local. For example, we have set up a textile industry in one of our school, where we are making all our uniforms. We have centralized uniform making. So that by that we employ the parents, we employ community members. So we are not just talking about people being able to earn income, and we are not showing them how. And then we have Inua Farm. Inua Farm is basically the feeding component of our system. It's able to feed the families, provide food, or produce food for us to be able to feed and sustain our ecosystem in terms of parents, families, the feeding program at school. So it is a whole ecosystem that requires different people to come together, and that's why we have 47. We have teachers in the schools, we have the cooks, we have the coordinators at the organizational level. So all of us together, we are 47 at the moment.
And how many children in total are there
Currently, we
in
are
the
yes, yes, in the 3 school we are serving 750 children at the moment. The school that has the highest population has 350, because we are only structures, setting up our schools, getting to go deep into the community. So we have one school that is up to class 7. We have another school that is up to class 3, and then we have another school that is up to class 2. So those where the levels are, and we have 750 children at the moment.
So, like, as a social entrepreneurship venture, I know that you needed resources to start. How did you manage to get the resources to start the school? How did you start? Let's start from there.
Wow, yes, that's a 1 million value question actually, because many people say, how do we start without money? Surprisingly, when I started the school, the only thing I had is an idea, and because I had interacted with these projects in other setups, I had and started other initiatives that went on to succeed in other ways. The first thing I was looking at is what is available. So when I'm setting up or when I'm starting a project, I'm looking at what is available. The first step was I talked to family, and the family was willing to give me a small piece of land, and they told me I could start there that project. So in other terms, if maybe someone doesn't have something like that, they will say they have to buy land. But in this case, in the village, and I said I started from where I was born in Vihiga. The first place that I started was to talk with family, and the family agreed that it was a good initiative, and they gave out a small piece of land. They said we can start there, and then I mobilized. I had a friend actually who had committed 100,000 Kenya shillings, or only one-time payment, to give us that money, and she said, "You figure out what you want to do with it." So we had. I was divided. Should I rent a space or should I build? And I think we did a quotation. And the idea was we just build one room made of iron sheets, and then from there we can start with a small, maybe one monthly feeding program, once per month feeding program, and then step by step we can grow from there. But eventually, when we did the first room, there was a friend of mine from Germany who came on board and said, "Hey, I'll be willing to work with you and to support you in some way." So she managed to pick up quite a number of children to help them find sponsorship, to pay school fees for them. So from day one, when we started, we just after we set up the room, we were able to recruit the kids. We wanted to start as a porridge program, but then it ended up quickly turning into a school, because now there was someone who was willing to help them get sponsorship for school fees. We moved from that. After we did very well, she saw that the number of children were growing. The community was becoming interested. This school was actually grew from 35 children to 60 children to 70, and now to 200 plus. And she had another project that was struggling elsewhere in Kakamega. So she said, "Hey, Zach, I think we work together to also manage the other project." So that's how we ended up being given the second school to manage, because of the good work that we had done with our own that we had started. We ended up now being given the second one to manage. So that school, we inherited it because it was it was having a lot of challenges in terms of management and how it was going on. And then from that inspiration, she accepted that we opened the third center in Nairobi, because I was working mostly from Nairobi. So that's how we ended up opening the third center. But really, it's not about having huge resources to start. It is small beginnings, because even us now, we don't consider that we have reached. We consider that we are just in the early stage of forming our organization. And what we have seen is every shilling that comes in, we prefer to treat it as a seed rather than as fruit. So we don't consider that any money that we are being given now is profit. We consider it as part of the capital we need to continue to entrench our work and make it even better as we go along.
All right. And so, like, are you in your 20s or in your 30s? Zakias.
Okay, I'm 31 actually.
Oh,
Just
31, and you
started
have
my
achieved all
30s.
this.
Mm.
Wow, wow, wow.
Am I
So
too
guys,
old?
you see, be motivated, eh? You see
Yes,
that
because
Zakias here is 31 and he has achieved all that, eh? 3 schools. So how many will he have achieved by the time he's 35?
yeah.
Yeah, so the other question that I'd like to ask you is um since you
Yes,
started this
and our vision is to do 100 schools. We want to be. I'm saying we want to do 100 schools
all
to be
right.
at least in 100 locations. So that's the dream we have.
Wow, wow. And you're gonna make it. So the next question that I have for you is because of you founding Inua Global Foundation, it opened doors for you. Some local doors and others international. Kindly elaborate and share more.
Yes, I think first locally is because starting with the first point I made about I talking to my family. Family is something that you will not consider a resource when you want to start something like this for many people. But if you learn that the first opportunity starts with where you are and the people you know, and then being able to have buy-in from those people in such a way that they believe in what you are selling to them, they believe in your vision, they believe in you as a person. And I think this goes back to how have you been conducting yourself, how have you been relating to the others around you. This way, when you tell them, hey, I want to start this project, then it is easier for them to buy in. So for me, the first door that was opened was for my family to accept that this is the work that I want to do, and it is a good work. And actually, they joined in and they are supporting in so many ways. It will not be what it is today if it was not for my family. And them being able not just to give the land, but to also step forward and to be able to start, because starting an entity like this requires human support. It requires people to work, it requires people to move this or move that, and if you don't have money to pay, sometimes becomes very difficult. So having family members who bought into the idea, they were willing to work long hours without pay. They are willing to put in their own resources in whatever capacity to make sure that what is needed to get done gets done. So the first door that opened that I never thought will help this work transform this much was from a family perspective. And then secondly is the idea that I didn't know much about registering schools. I didn't know much about who can fund, who can support, even what the communities can do. But immediately we set up these centers and the communities saw them. We have had so many offers from the communities, people bringing trees, people bringing construction materials, us working with suppliers. I've engaged suppliers in the villages who are willing to bring their construction materials like cement, and then we pay them up bit by bit, just to have the classroom get finished or something like this. So locally within the community, I have seen opportunities open up in terms of what people are willing to offer. I have seen trained teachers who are willing to come and start with us as a volunteer and then learn through the process. I have seen people offering even gifts, people offering to support to come and clean at the school. I've seen so many in terms of what community is willing to do to push the work forward. And then internationally, I have seen these projects open me to spaces that I thought would be impossible. When I say spaces, it means like last year I was able to attend Obama Leaders Africa. And Obama Leaders Africa mainly picked me because of my theme towards access to quality education for all, which I'm achieving through my entity. So if I did not set up this platform and I was not participating in such an endeavor, I don't think I will have been selected by the Obama leaders. And just being part of the Obama Africa leaders and being part of that network in terms of seeing what other youth are doing across the continent. That is a big opportunity that you can learn from. You can borrow ideas from across the continent and bring them in to enrich the system. I have seen opportunities open in terms of the level of networking. I've met many young people who have given money, who have given advice, who have given their professional expertise to aid my work in so many different ways. I see so many other opportunities in terms of the things that we can be able to do even going forward, just because I have this platform, because many doors are opening not because of Zachuas, but because of Inua Village to Global Foundation. When people read what we do, when people see what we are doing, they're interested to know who is behind this work, and how is it contributing to the community. I have seen the chiefs, the local authorities come to us. I was once invited by our area, our MP, Member of Parliament, who had gone to the village, and people told him about the work that we were doing, and he became so interested to meet me and know, am I doing this because I want a political seat or something like that? But when I met him, he realized that I just want to transform my community. So the work has opened many doors and many windows, both for itself and even for me as a person.
Great. So now I'd like to bring on board members of your team so that you may introduce them, or they may introduce themselves. So let me add Shedrack to the studio. Shedrack, kindly unmute your line, and we'd also like to see you. Jack as well. They have unmute. They have muted their lines.
I see they're joining in.
Yes, yes, yes. Kindly tell them that are they where you are?
I think I can send someone to tell them to unmute.
Yes, yes, send someone. So I hope you're getting motivated by what you've heard from Zachuas. If you have any questions for him, kindly write in the comment section, and we are going to ask him live. Yeah, so.
Yes, they are unmuting shortly.
All right, thank you. So this is the reason why I started Youth County Projects Kenya. I didn't want to be the only one who has initiated a project, and I didn't want that I didn't want that the light is only shining on me alone. So I wanted even other youth who are also initiating their own projects to also share. And I'm glad that this particular platform is showcasing other youth from across the 47 counties in Kenya who are doing amazing stuff. And Shedrack is on board. Hi, Shedrack.
Hi.
Hi. We can't see you.
Hi to you.
We can't see your face.
Yes.
You are not seeing me.
Your camera is very low.
Can you
Kindly
see
introduce. We can't see you, but kindly introduce yourself.
Are you seeing me?
We are not
No, just
seeing
turn
you.
on your camera. We can't see you. But go on, just talk.
Just go on.
Okay, I hope you are able to hear what I am saying now.
Yes, yes.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Shadrach.
Okay, I am happy to be in the show right now. My name is Shadrach, and I'm happy to be hosted here right now. So the show is good. I am just hearing you what you are saying. Here is Village to Global Foundation. We are happy to do this work because this work we are doing now, it has empowered most of the people we serve in the community. We have been able to reach more, and also we are doing great. But what I am seeing, I'm just inspired to do what we are doing right now.
Uh-huh. All right, and we have Francis Alexandria on board. Francis, kindly unmute your line. Francis. I think he can't. So maybe Zachias, you can introduce the two persons, Francis and Shedrack, so that the viewer can get to know more about them and what they do at your organization. You are on mute.
Okay, so this call is happening when I'm still in the office, and my team members, part of my team members, are still around. All the 47 of us don't work in one place. We have those who are in Vihiga, we have those who are in Kakamega, and those who work in the schools and in the other places. So currently, I have Shadrach. Shadrach is the coordinator for the Inua Farm. He works in the Inua Farm that I mentioned earlier. Is the one who is helping set up the poultry project that we are having, the vegetable project, the store, and all that we are doing around the food security for communities. And then Ochieng Alexandra is in charge of our marketing department, so he puts together our content. He makes sure that our social media handles are running and they have adequate content. He makes sure that everything we are doing is properly documented, and he also does a lot of training and support for the team in terms of just us moving together as a team. And then Jack was here earlier, but I think he has left. I can't see him. Jack is in our finance department, and he works together with a lady called Mercy. So we have many of us who are working in various parts that I will probably talk about a bit in terms of what is an organizational structuring and how that is important maybe later on. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so we are coming to the end of the show. What advice do you have, Zachias, what advice do you have for youth here in Kenya and across the world?
Yes, I think I have the advice I'll give is what I have been giving all my friends and all people that everyone that have asked me what I can share. I think youth needs to learn to manage two dimensions. At the moment, many youth that I've interacted with are managing one dimension. One dimension, I mean, you have activities, you have programs, but then you don't think about how these programs will go forward, even if you are not there. So not that you are not there in terms of you are dead, but you are not there in terms of as a leader, you find that so many other things are coming up. For example, you have been selected to attend a leadership training and you will be away for 2 months. How will your work continue going when you are not there? The idea is youth need to think about structures as they think about their projects. As you think about any idea, think about the engine that will drive the work. And the engine that will drive the work is basically the structure. It should be able to have, you should be able to have a functioning finance department. You should be able to have, the organization in terms of the vision, the mission. You should be able to have a calendar in terms of what happens at what time. You should start to work around organizational structure, culture in terms of how do you identify yourself, what do you stand for. You should be able to build your organization in such a way that in itself it stands independent of you as a person, because then this way after some time the organization will attract its own opportunities to itself. The organization will stand out, will be able to pull resources that you as an individual cannot be able to pull. The organization will be able to go even into places that you can never go as an individual, but it will be able to go there and serve the community or deliver the services that you are delivering to the people. So I think youth, we are yet to capture that in Kenya. Many people are just doing activities and sometimes they get worked up, they get burn out, they get exhausted, because then it is him who is the CEO, it is him who is the sweeper, it's him who has to think about how to fundraise, it is him to think about how to deliver to the people that you are delivering. So you can't do everything, and the best way to make sure that you are not doing everything is put structures in place and to start to identify people that can host your vision, people who can take your vision and run with it and make sure that it is delivered in how you will have anticipated it to be delivered. So that's my advice to the young people today.
All right. Even we have Francis has managed to join us. Hi, Francis.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, we can't hear you.
I will unmute. Hello, how are you, everyone?
We're fine, we're fine. Tell us about your leader. How is your leader?
Thank you very much for... Yes, like I have a lot to say about him, and but I will be able to be very brief and be able to put up something very clear. He's such a young and very energetic person. That's what I will tell you. And also, we are building a young team. So in this team, we are able to drive the energy, and also we are very focused into the system that will be able to drive this even beyond the leader himself. And looking at that, it means that me as part of the team, I am extremely very happy to have such a leader that has vision and is very supportive. He's able to give advice in different aspects, and in all things, even when we reach complex points, he's always willing and ready to, ready to help us out, and he's ready to help out in the best way he can. So for me, that is something which is very, very important. Instead of as a leader maybe saying, oh, why are you not doing this the right way? But then he comes in and is like, hey, you can do this way, and helps out to bring out these results. Think about it in this way, look at it in this dimension. And then that helps out to shape exactly where we're driving the organization and also with all its activities. And that has helped a lot on team building, even including more of the team culture. So I really learn a lot from him, and we as a team learn a lot from him as well. We know that he's driving. We have a leader to trust and a captain on our shoulders.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Shadrach?
Yes.
Shadrach, are you able to put your camera on?
How are you?
Fine, we'd like to see you.
Hey.
He's on his camera, so I think he's struggling with turning on his camera. Maybe Chen can help, yeah.
Okay, so Shadrach, I think he's disappeared. But at least if Jack is able to use Francis' camera, that is also okay. But
okay, let me. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, there is even Luisa. Now we are meeting members of your team. Oh, all right.
Hi.
Oh, kindly introduce yourself, Francis, and tell us about your boss. How is his management style?
Thank you. This is Jack.
Yes, Jack. We can't.
I'm so happy to see you.
We can't see your.
Madam Violet, I'm so happy to see you.
We can't see your lips. Your lips.
My lips.
Yeah. The camera was so down. Okay, right now it's okay. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us here today. I'm really grateful having to join this meeting and being able to listen to the conversation that you are making together with our leader, Zachuas. We are much blessed, and as a team, we are really happy having such a leader, an inspirational leader who is always guiding us on what to do and it's all about the vision and the organization at large as we drive the vision to accomplish what we need to help the community and be able to establish a community whereby children are able to get the education and be able to transform their lives to the better. Thank you.
Wow, welcome, welcome. Shadrach, I'd like to add you on board. Kindly tell us about your boss. Yes, Shadrach.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you today, Violet?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I am happy to join the show. What I can speak about is about concerning my leader. I am happy because he is a mentor.
There is an echo. There is an echo, Shadrach. There is an echo where you are. I don't understand why.
There is an echo.
Yeah, where Shadrach is. Is there another equipment that is live as well?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, I am. As I speak about my leader, I am happy because he's empowering us at large. We didn't know anything about this work, but after he training us and we are able now to do it at large. I see it's possible. What we are doing is just to meet the community's needs. We walk there, we do all that is necessary to be done. As we walk to the communities, we are inspired to do the work because the challenges were there before. Like us, what is inspiring us to do this work more is that we didn't have any opportunity to do it, but now through this work, we are able now to reach more. We are able to learn through our leader and work and do anything that we were not able to do before. But now I can see we are able to do it. We are reaching more students. We are reaching more families, and through this work, we can support more as we move forward. Thank you.
Wow, thank you for the awesome presentation. Thank you for the awesome words you've all said towards your boss, Zachuas. So viewer, we've come to the end of the broadcast, and yeah, so I want to say thank you for joining us on board, and thank you, Zachuas, and your team for joining us. All right, and we wish you all the best in your endeavors. All right.
Thank you as well, Violet, for for having us, and we do appreciate the opportunity you have given us to share about our work. And the honor is ours that we can be able to share our experiences with others, and they can be able to learn from it. Just like my team has said, let us bring everyone along, teach others to be able to do the work, and that way we'll be able to transform even more. Thank you.
Wow, welcome. So the others have spoken. So viewer, we've come to the end of the show. I hope the show was informative, and you are going also to, like, the lessons that you learned from watching this show. Kindly go and apply. Maybe you can use a different model, but if you need help, we are here to support you, and even Zachuas and his team are also here to support you. So if you're thinking of an entrepreneurship idea and you'd like to mold it so that it can be perfect, there are youth experts, young experts who can help you. So thank you for joining us, and it's been a pleasure hosting this show today. Asante, and see you next time, even as we host a remarkable leader on Friday who's going to share with us about the smallest library in Africa, and his name is Cyril Otieno. So thank you so much, and enjoy your evening.